Guys, I've got a new place that you need to be checking for sports cards and Pokemon. It's wild. I got this entire binder for 100 bucks. It's all base unlimited, fossil, and jungle, and some of the cards are pretty damn good inside. So I'm gonna tell you how you can find a place like this in your neighborhood, and just talk about the economics of Pokemon and what's happened in the last year since I got into the vintage side of things and where I think it's going to go. But most importantly, I don't think anybody's thinking about this in terms of where to find old stuff. So you immediately think like if you're going to get deals, you go to a card show. But everybody at a card show knows what the cards are worth. They go on eBay and 130 point or whatever, and they're pretty well versed and experienced. And then you think, all right, cool, like eBay, I'll get good deals maybe. Flea markets probably not so much because even they're clued in on things. But I go thrifting with my daughter quite a bit, and there are stores where I've found cards. You've got this isn't where I found it, but the Savers of the world, they'll put cards just in plastic and they'll just staple them to the thing in the back, and it's like $5. If you thumb through quick, you can find hollows, and some of this is old stuff. I've found wax at Savers before. I saw somebody find a really nice box of mid 2000s Upper Deck there basketball once, and it was like $5. So that's not where I found this though. I found this at a very eclectic place near me where they've got everything from an Egyptian sarcophagus to a Coke bottle from the 20s to Elvis to Barbie to whatever. And the guy had a little stack of just really crappy Pokemon out front. And I started making friends with him, and I said, "What else you got?" And he's like, somebody like dropped these off. I don't know, like I think it's the old stuff. And like, yeah, these aren't Charizard. Okay, it's a lot of Psyduck and Jigglypuff and Machoke and different cards like that. But I think I'm looking at some of these thanks to Lady Gaga and Jigglypuff, and then that other terrible comedian with Psyduck and that Super Bowl commercial. Some of these, even though they're unlimited base, if they 10, and the gem rate's not bad on these. So you figure I've done a good job of filtering. I got 20 cards here. It's going to cost me whatever, 400 bucks with shipping to PSA, right? I'm into it for 100. I'm pretty damn sure I can clear 400 bucks on this, because if one of these tens, which with the odds of the gem rate, about half of them will. I'm looking at 300 on some of these, couple of them 400, something like, I got like 9 Meowths, whatever, 100, 200 bucks. This starts to add up, and there's a big TCG show out in Massachusetts, and I could sell these for $1 or $5. This is a lot of cards, and it's just cool that I have in my hands. They're not first edition, but they're old unlimited Pokemon, which is kind of dope. And I found this not at your usual place. I found it at an antique shop. So I recommend you draw a circle around your home, and you look 20, 30 miles out, maybe even 50 miles out. Maybe you even call ahead of time. Be like, hey, guys, do you have sports cards? Do you have Pokemon there? I would bet you many do, because a lot of people just don't know about LCSs. They just find like an interesting place in their neighborhood or drivable, wherever they are, and they're like, here's some cards. Can you just give me some cash for this? Like, I don't want to deal with them. And then sometimes that place knows what they're doing, and sometimes they don't. And this guy's got more stuff. So I need to go back there, because God help me if he's got some first edition hollows or even, base unlimited hollows. I would like to take a longer look. So I'm going to go, but you need to do that. Now, Pokemon in general, it's fascinating to me. I decided that I wanted to make a play on vintage Pokemon. So I decided to build the first edition / Shadowless. I know you're not allowed to say both together, even though Machamp is both, which I find weird. So I ended up putting that together pretty quickly. I got the Charizard first. I got a BGS 9 for 20 grand, and started building the rest. And in February of last year, the Blastoise first edition holo PSA 9 was 5 grand. Mewtwo was like 25. This stuff has ripped. We just had a sale for Charizard that was a BGS 8.5, went for 50 grand. And it's making me rethink things. Like, I built this set with my son to just kind of keep, because I believe in vintage Pokemon long term. They're not making anymore, and the first edition stuff just slams. But I'm starting to feel piggish. Like, when you get a return like that 20K card is probably 50K, at auction right now. And that set is all PSA 9s and 10s. Other than that BGS 9 Charizard, it makes me want to take chips off the table, but I have to stay disciplined. I don't know. You guys, let me know what you would do. Would you split up the hollows and just sell and, like, I don't know, do a lower set, like a PSA 6 set or something? I feel like Pokemon is going to grow. I never ask, I never tell you to buy something because I say so, but I feel like the IP's nuts. They did the Super Bowl commercial. You're going to start seeing collabs. Like, why wouldn't the NBA collab? NBA players' favorite Pokemon. They're going to double down on the musician thing. The IP's strong. The shows, the competition. You can actually use the cards and play. And the vintage stuff is rare. I mean, imagine if they start numbering cards or doing autographs of the artists and things like that. I think that would be pretty damn cool. So I feel like, it was like last year at this time, it's pretty much doubled or tripled. Gosh, I almost feel like it's going to double or triple again on the hollows from first edition. The modern stuff, I enjoy it. I enjoy ripping with my son, seeing if that vending machine is in stock or not. But for the most part, it's just kind of like a gamble, and they're overprinting like mad, But some of the stuff's cool. Like, I actually like the Van Gogh Pikachu, regardless of the gem rate and the insane amount of tens that there are. I think it's a cool card, and I'd like to get into Neo Genesis. I know a guy locally that's got 2 or 3 packs of that, and I'm trying to buy them just for content. I can, like, rip them with you guys, maybe give away like a spot or something like that. That would be kind of fun. So I'm just like, I'm feeling this because, my son's into it, so he likes it. It's a cool way to diversify. But again, what I would encourage you to do is don't seek value where value is already being found. Go on YouTube and people are explaining how to do things. It's too late. It's too late. By the time they've told you, they've already maximized that. It's like when I was getting Kareem to sign his full name before everybody knew about it. Once that hit the website, it was over. These arbitrage moments are always fleeting. They always close fast. So, because you're probably not all in my local area, hit those antique shops and see what they got, because you just might walk out with a stack of something really fun and really cheap that you could keep, and it's just kind of cool to run into pristine old Pokemon, or B, I feel like I can clear a couple grand out of this, and it'll be a fun experience with me and my son. We might even set up at the there's a big TCG show. The Best Flipping Card Show's got a big TCG one coming up in April. Maybe we set up at that show and we sell some of these. These will never be back from PSA in time, but we could sell these raw, whatever it is, $1 a card, $5 a card, and you can recoup that pretty fast because people are into this stuff. So go out there and find something different. Find cards in weird places. That's my biggest advice to you. Church auctions are another one. Churches do like an auction once a month. Those are real good. Ray Schulte gave me that advice when I interviewed him about the National last year. Follow those church auctions because people just dump stuff. Nobody in the hobby's thinking about that. You don't see Jeff Wilson doing 100,000 view YouTube video about that stuff because you don't really want to get the word out. But I don't know. Good luck, everybody. Have fun. Happy hunting. And go Pokemon.